Hello everyone, and welcome to the next installment of Am I the Asshole? If you're a fan of hearing Reddit stories, it would greatly support the channel if you could give us a thumbs up or subscribe. Let's dive straight into our first story. Am I the asshole for making seat swapper cry? So I board the plane, settle into my economy plus seat. Woman approaches, asks me to change seats to 32B so her 9-year-old can sit with her. I ask how much cash she has to repay me for the money I spent on the seat. She says I'm cruel for leaving her son with anxiety, sitting alone. I ask if she offered the person sitting next to her son her seat in economy, plus, she said she needed the legroom. I said clearly, she cares more about her own comfort than her son's well-being. If she cared, she would give up her seat and move to the back. She breaks out in a screaming wail filled with, "How could you?" 10 minutes later, a smiling man sits down next to me, grinning about his sweet upgrade. My partner says AITAH for questioning her parenting in public and making her cry. Am I? Not the asshole. She's in the wrong for 1, not being able to plan and book ahead of time so her son isn't left alone. 2, not being able to put aside her comfort ahead of her precious son. And 3, thinking that anyone owes her anything for being a poor planner. When I booked my seat, hers was already taken, so she booked first. Didn't look like poor planning. Looked like she only wanted to pay for 1 premium seat and wanted to guilt me into giving up my seat. Not the asshole. It's so annoying for PPL to do this. They don't want to pay for seats, but want people who do pay to give up their seat. I would never, unless it's equal or better value. That last time a man asked me to switch so he could sit with his girlfriend, I got to move 6 rows up, and he brought my bag and put in the bin for me. Even sent me a drink. Not the asshole. If you had done what my brother usually does, if someone asks him to swap seats, then yes, you would have been. He is 6 before, so he always books the exit row, so he gets more leg room, otherwise his legs get smooshed into someone's back. Even on the exit rows, he sometimes is smushed. His usual response to anyone that asks him to swap is F off. He flies quite often, and he has told me on almost every flight he has taken in recent times, someone has asked him to switch for some stupid reason. He was on a flight back from Fiji yesterday, and he said some girl asked him to switch. She didn't even get to the reason she wanted before he told her to F off. Am I the asshole for refusing to label my wedding cake as vegan because a guest felt tricked? My husband, 32 male, and I, 30 female, had a vegan wedding because we're both vegan. We made it clear in advance that the food and cake would be plant-based, and no one complained until the reception. The cake was gorgeous, 3 tiers decorated with edible flowers. Toward the end of the night, one of my husband's aunts, Linda, came up to me looking visibly upset. She said it was disrespectful to have a vegan cake on display because it felt like I was pushing my lifestyle on everyone. I told her the cake wasn't meant to make a statement. It was just the dessert we chose for our wedding. She insisted I either move the cake off the main table or add a sign saying it was vegan so people weren't tricked into eating it. I refused because 1, it was my wedding, 2, it's a cake, not propaganda, and 3, no one else seemed to care. Linda ended up storming out, and now my in-laws are saying I should have compromised to avoid drama. I think Linda's reaction was ridiculous, but my husband thinks I could have just put up a sign to keep the peace. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. The whole thing was vegan. It was your wedding, your choice. I wouldn't feel tricked by eating a vegan cake at all. She has some issues. Let her seethe and be upset. You don't owe her anything. Putting up a sign would have rewarded her bad, entitled behavior. You had no reason to do it. They told everyone the wedding was going to be vegan. How stupid does she have to be surprised that the cake was vegan? Not the asshole. The only things you are obligated to include are allergens, dietary and religious food exemptions. Being vegan, unless they are allergic to something like soy, is not something you have to put. In fact, it's actually more time-consuming to label something vegan because every ingredient has to be outright vetted to be not animal-based, to be legally labeled as vegan in the first place, like kosher or halal. There are rules and guidelines you have to follow. Linda is being incredibly ridiculous, and no, a sign to appease people being dumb is not the answer. This is the kind of person that would have complained sign or no by the sounds of it. Not the asshole. Should you also put a sign up? If you serve broccoli, you're not tricking anyone into eating something they're allergic to, or tricking vegans into eating a non-vegan cake. This is just absent of certain ingredients. The horror. Well, that's another episode of Am I the Asshole in the books. I really appreciate all of you who made it this far into the video. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, it would really help the channel out a lot if you gave the video a thumbs up, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.